I now for movies that you wouldn't think would be 2.5 hours long, but was 2.5 hours long.
I was legitimately shocked about that earlier. I'm like, it's like, okay, Den of Thieves. Like, I'll just take a quick glance here. It's like 2 hours, 20 minutes. I'm like, fuck you.
I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw that, like, I thought it was a typo at first. Because why would that be true? Like,
they probably meant 1 hour and 20 minutes.
It's 8 minutes shorter than Proud Mary. No. It wasn't until I confirmed it on another website that the January Gerard Butler action thriller that you're going to go see is epic length. It is. And while that may be a point of criticism for a lot of people going to see it, you know what? I admire that ambition. I do.
They really stuffed in everything they could to make this 2 hours and 20 minutes.
I admire that. I really do, because while it would be very easy to pick what could be cut and what could stay in this film.
It's very easy.
It is incredibly easy, but I can't lie, I loved those scenes. like
if I was to sit down with this movie, I could cut out at least 30, 40 minutes without even thinking about it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I appreciate this film. Here's a movie that it's basic. All right, now Den of Thieves is basically if Tony Scott did Heat.
It's basically if Heat wasn't as good as Heat. It also feels like it should have come out probably the same year as Heat.
Or early 2000s.
Like this,
but that's why we go to Gerard Butler movies.
Well, yeah,
that's why we love them.
Because these are all the canon films they forgot to make.
Yeah,
and that's the not necessarily a canon films feel, but I got the real strong feeling that this script was written back in like the 80s and just forgotten about, like how like Olympus Has Fallen felt, or maybe not Geostorm, but
a little bit of Geostorm.
It still felt like that one could have taken place several years ago.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that felt like throwbacks to like 80s scripts, but in confusing ways. Like there were scenes that felt like, oh yeah, this would be like a humorous scene for like the buddy cops to have in a buddy cop film.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, yeah, but how about we have that scene just with the bad guys?
No, I think we're thinking of the same scene. The scene that seems like it's out of Bad Boys 2.
Yeah.
Another 2.5 hour movie.
The Curtis 50 Cent Jackson muscling up to some kid we've never seen before, who's gonna take his daughter we've never seen before to, I guess, the prom?
Yeah.
Like, it started that scene, I'm like, who the fuck are all these people? And then, like, 50 Cent comes walking, like, oh, so I guess this is his family. And then it has, like, it's, like, super tropey scene of, like him, like, walks this date into their garage, which is full of, like, bad guys who are also, like, look like they're all also MMA fighters.
The scene, though, was also 10 times more subtle than the similar scene from Bad Boys 2, where Will Smith just straight up put a gun in the kid's head. And they were cops. These are our villains doing this. And I loved every scene like that in this movie.
Yeah, like, that scene felt like this was written for, like, Martin Riggs.
Yeah.
like I feel like just like swap out 50 Cent for Danny Glover, swap out Pablo Schreiber for Mel Gibson. Boom! This should have been in like Lethal Weapon 5.
There's another scene in this movie where Gerard Butler, who his wife finds out that he's cheating on her, so she instantly leaves him and instantly serves him with divorce papers. And then he signs the divorce papers by going to this like dinner party she's having with her friends, and it's again a scene that would be easy to lose, but I love this scene because it's Gerard Butler going in there and eating their food and having this like hug it out moment with, I guess, this guy she's on a date with. I don't know, but I really honestly kind of loved this movie because this movie is, look, I appreciate that this movie it really wants to be this like action thriller epic, like, and while it's not Heat, while it's not To Live and Die in LA or anything like that,
but it swings for the fences.
Yeah,
on that. Like
I admire that about this film. Like, it actually does take its time out to really kind of spend in all of these characters' worlds. Like, it's to me, it's like it's a better version of that 999 movie that came out last year, and also it's a way better version of that shitty second season of True Detective.
It felt to me like we did have a lot of like equal time, like with both sides, the cops and the thieves.
Yeah,
but it was giving so many mixed messages, like, oh man, like the cops are worse than the thieves are. Oh wait, no, the cops are like righteous good guys, like helping save everybody.
Like a couple times where it's like The Shield.
Yeah, where it's like, I'm siding with the thieves. Like, they are by far less shitty people.
But Gerard Butler was born to play a role like this. He is amazing in this film. Like,
it feels like if they put Mel Gibson in a Steven Seagal flick from like the 2000s.
Yeah, so the first time we see Gerard Butler in this movie, it's like kind of a Mitchell introduction. Where,
dear God, yeah.
Where he shows up on the you see this in the trailer. It's where he shows up at the crime scene where there was an armored car was stolen at a donut shop. So Gerard Butler shows up with like a black eye and hungover and chain smoking, just eats one of the donuts that belonged to the dead guy and then throws the half-eaten donut back into the crime scene.
Like, oh, I think there's some over there that don't have blood on them. He's like, oh, cool. Brushes off some broken glass, opens the box, gob.
Yeah, lights another cigarette.
He's always smoking in public areas. Like,
which could, again, tell you when this movie was written.
Yeah. Is there just, like, surely to God not in Southern California still, like, public smoking in every establishment? Because he just does. But it always kind of feels like no one told him he couldn't, so he's just gonna keep doing it. It's
one of those movies, it's one of those LA crime movies where the minimal soundtrack that it has is very bleak and somber, and the visual aesthetic of the movie itself, it's one of those LA crime movies where it looks this close, like Judgment Day is about to happen from Terminator 2. And it's there's not much of a soundtrack to this movie, and I actually kind of liked that. Like, yeah, it kicks in every now and then to, again, be kind of bleak and dreary in the movie, but more often than not, the scenes kind of just let themselves play out with the mood and the action. It is kind of trying to go for a sort of realism there in some of the action sequences and in some of the just conversations these people are having. Again, like I said, like whether you enjoy this movie is dependent on two things. It's dependent on how much you love Gerard Butler movies and how much you love like gritty crime thrillers. And I got to admit, I love both of those things.
Checking off all the boxes.
Yeah. So this movie really was my cup of tea. I really liked how this could have been just some 80-90 minute thing, and really, let's be honest, objectively, yeah, because it's not Heat.
Somebody should have stepped in all these like weird scenes, just like anything with Gerard Butler's family, just immediately cut any of that.
But again, I love those scenes
because outside of those scenes, you don't even know that he has a family.
I love those scenes, though, is the thing, because it's drunken Gerard Butler being awesome.
It's like this movie looks like he was just pickling in a jar full of gin
Yeah.
since Geostorm came out. And they're like, all right, juice him out. We need him on set.
I love the good Gerard Butler movies, and I love the bad ones too. Like we had fun at Geostorm.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, and I don't think this movie's bad at all. I honestly think this is a really good movie. Like, this movie could have been just forgettable, in and out January action movie, but it gave it an extra amount of ambition to it and some thought. You could tell that the people who wrote and directed this movie are really wanting to put out a great crime thriller product here. I don't think this is a great movie. No, it's not Heat at all, but I admire that in this January movie they were really trying for that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, in place of, like in Heat, like, you have, like, that great scene with, like, De Niro and Pacino, like, sitting down, like, in that restaurant. And in this one, you have that scene where Pablo Schreiber comes home to his house, and it turns out that Gerard Butler, like, fucked his stripper girlfriend.
Dude, there's an amazing scene in this movie where he and Gerard Butler are having a pissing match with each other at a gun range. Like,
I leaned over to Letty, because, like, at a point, like Pablo Schreiber is just, like, unloading just, like, 10 clips rapid fire. Just like, I'm still gonna get in my gun practice for the day, but I'm gonna get out of here quick. And I was half expecting, like, whenever he hit the little button to, like, bring the paper sheet back up, like, yeah, like, he had great grouping on that target.
Yeah.
But I expected it to come back up and just be like, fuck you.
yeah. I really love him in this movie, too, because what I love about his performance in the movie is that when you see him in a lot of scenes in this, like the part with 50 Cent and his daughter and the scene at the hibachi grill and stuff like that, it's like, okay, villain in this kind of movie. He's sitting there with a wife beater on and tattoos and everything. All right, bad guy. But when it actually does get to the heist and they're all the big heist in this is that they're trying to rob the Federal Reserve in Los Angeles. So part of the plan for that is him going in as just like a security guard to do a drop off. What I like about his performance is when he is outside of like his villain clothes that you see him in, and he's kind of playing the part as this just security guard who's making a drop off. In moments like that, like, he is coming across as just a guy. Yeah,
he played it convincing. Like, it's not in, like, other films where, like, well, like, a film with a similar convoluted bank heist. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's no one who's buying that Jeremy Irons isn't fully fucking evil. Whether he's, like, walking around like, Simon didn't say.
Yeah.
Like, doing that shit, or trying to, like, fool somebody. Like, you know. It's like, no one's buying it. Like, it's... Like, I don't care. Or even, like in the first Die Hard, you know, like... It's like Hans Gruber doing it. Oh, Bill Clay. Oh, jeez.
You know how you use a handgun, Bill?
Like,
you know, like games where you shoot red paint.
Like, those guys, I'm not fucking buying it. But yeah, in this one, like, he's like in scenes when he's not like planning heists and walking around with a machine gun strapped to his body, he just seems like a normal guy. Like, he knows how to, like, pretend to be a normal guy.
And also, in terms of the actors too, the more I see O'Shea Jackson and stuff, I really like that dude a lot.
Yeah, no, like, he's really good. Like,
Laura and I watched that Ingrid Goes West about a week or so ago, which was really good, and he was damn good in it. Straight Outta Compton. He's a really solid actor, and he's very good in this film too.
Oh yeah, no, he's really convincing. in his part. I definitely like. I'd give him probably like MVP for the movie.
Yeah,
but it's just it makes it really unbalanced though. Like that scene where the cops just like straight up kidnap him and take him to a hotel room full of like blow and strippers.
I don't know.
I don't
either,
know,
man. Yeah.
Like it cut to that scene. Like I have no idea what's happening here. Like you spend way too much of this movie seeing Gerard Butler's like gross like I'm your dad's age action hero body. Like I mean, kudos for having an action film that doesn't have like a lead who's, you know, like 1% body fat like bodybuilder status, but at the same time like he spends an awful lot of this movie just beer gut hanging out.
I like that because he looks like he's one of those characters where, like, you know, in his prime he probably was built a little bit more like Martin Riggs, but we're at this stage in his career where he's mostly whiskey. And,
but he still has that like my dad could kick your dad's ass quality.
Yeah, like he could still throw you through a window if he wanted to.
His arms are still bigger than my thighs are. I mean,
yeah, like he's still legit intimidating, especially at the end when there's the big shootout at the end of the film. But I feel like too, like they maybe had enough grounds to arrest a lot of these guys before we get to the actual heist, especially considering the opening scene as they kill a couple cops.
Yeah, I feel like they just really wanted to kill these guys.
Yeah.
And so that's where they were letting this investigation go to. Like, there was never a plan that involved any of them going to prison.
When you actually see the heist itself, it's entertaining. Like, it is. It relies on such coincidence and timing, and even if
it's like Letty leaned over to me, he's like, so it's Ocean's 11.
Yeah, it becomes a straight up Ocean's film in terms of how intricate this plan they have is.
Because it's not like, because that was kind of the brilliance with stuff like Heat. Like, it's just a bank robbery.
Or Reservoir Dogs or something like that, you know?
Yeah,
it's a bank robbery.
It's a smash and grab, except they're really good at it. This is like suddenly...
This is the Italian Job.
Yeah, like, they go from like they rob banks by like, you know, like they blow out the floor and escape through like the sewer line. It's like, well, okay, like I've heard of that in other films, like stuff like that. It's like this one here, like, no, like, like, it's insanely complicated.
And speaking of complicated too, I'm not going to give this away, but they do throw in this final twist at the end, and I was sitting there like, okay, I really can't say I'm buying this, but it's not like I buy much of this heist anyway, so alright, right on, movie. I'll throw you this. I didn't see that coming necessarily, but why not? Why not? Sure, it still I respect it because it still plays it with a straight face. This heist that they're doing, this really intricate fucking heist that's going on, and everything else in the movie, it's played very straight, and I do like that. I honestly had a really good time at this movie.
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's fucking stupid sometimes, but I really I enjoyed what I saw. Like it threw everything up there, and going by the editing, they just left everything.
Yeah, why not?
Like B plots, C plots, like it's got them all in there.
I was never bored. Yeah, you don't expect a movie like this to be 2 hours and 20 minutes long, but that fucking 12 strong thing I saw earlier was 10 minutes shorter than this and felt a million times longer. This movie, even through the stuff involving like Gerard Butler's family and 50 Cent's family and all of it really kind of threw you into this world and gave you some extra things, and I admire that. I was consistently entertained in this film.
it almost felt like they had enough stuff going on. Like I feel like you could have just made this like a 10 episode like maxi series or something.
Dude, it could have been like if this was like season 2 of True Detective, it would have been way more entertaining than the season 2 we got.
It's like I feel like they could have just like they had more that they could have done to where like they could have just built on this more. I feel like, but yeah, like
it has a real Tony Scott feel to it.
Yeah,
like it's again, less Michael Mann's heat, more Tony Scott's heat. Like, and if you go into it with that mindset and that attitude, you're gonna get your money's worth on this.
Because yeah, there's so much stuff that it just throws at you. This, like, just suddenly like the whole like divorce thing out of nowhere. It's like, okay. It's like I didn't even know he had a family, and suddenly like he's like pulls up to his house in the suburbs. It's like, oh. Up till now, I didn't assume that anyone liked him.
I didn't know where that scene was going. I didn't know, like, does he still live there? Or is this going to be one of those scenes where, like, he's kind of drunk and he goes into his ex-wife's house to see the kids or something? No, he's still married at this point in the movie.
Yeah, like, that's one of those scenes where, like, you know, the wife comes in and surprises him. Oh, God, you scared the shit out of me. It's like, oh, you can't keep coming back here.
I know, I was expecting
turns around and the wife's like Rene Russo.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait a minute, was this Lethal Weapon 5?
In a way.
The other Lethal Weapon 5, not the It's Always Sunny one.
But yeah, it feels like so many different parts of so many different films, and they just threw them all together.
And it was at least consistent with all those parts in this film. It still is tonally the same throughout it. It still plays it with this straight poker face and everything. It's not like it's suddenly... It's not like it's suddenly now it's a comedy. Or, well, I mean, okay, the 50 Cent scene was pretty funny. But it... Again, it was like, all right, fine. That scene's pretty funny. I could deal with that scene being in here. But really, more often than not, it kind of goes for the same tone through the movie a little bit.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like if you went to like the writer's house and looked at like oh, let's see what stuff they got on the shelf here, you wouldn't find any surprises. It's like just like Lethal Weapon stuff. Oh, some old like
To Live and Die in L.A.
Yeah, like you'd find like every movie that you'd think you'd find.
Dark Blue, things like that. And I like those kind of movies. And I remember being kind of disappointed in 999 last year. This one though, no, like I said, this movie certainly is my taste. It is, like, again, gritty crime epic, honestly.
Because there are also a lot of, like, way over the top, like, somber scenes in this where, like, you know, he goes to, like, visit his daughter at her school and then goes and sits in his car and cries for, like, a solid, like, minute on screen. It's like,
I appreciate
God,
that.
like, this feels heavy all of a sudden.
Yeah, and it was little touches like that I really liked about this movie.
Or him just going to stand by the ocean for a while.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was a good, like, 80s cop movie moment, like, with the birds flying over him on the beach and stuff. Like, the part with him and his daughter, I liked that, because they're about to... He realizes that this big shootout is probably going to happen between him and these guys that he's surveillancing who are going to end up pulling off this heist. I actually kind of admired that. It was a really human moment because he doesn't know if he's going to survive what's about to happen here.
Yeah.
And that was a really human moment. I liked that. And it was little touches like that honestly, yeah, made me okay with this movie being as long as it was. Now, if I was ever bored, the answer would be fuck this movie with its goddamn 2.5 hour length. But I wasn't. I was never bored at this film. And again, it's a it's a silly Gerard Butler action movie, and I am sold. I am sold whenever that's the case. Because goddamn, he can carry a movie like this. Like, Gerard Butler could do a movie like this in his sleep.
I think parts of this one, I think parts of this one he was, though.
And yeah, and he can still fucking ace this shit.
There's so many scenes where he is just sitting there, just like, I can't tell if he's acting or if he literally is just completely inundated with whiskey.
Yeah, it's from the same writer or director of London Has Fallen.
There you go.
The movie's a little more ambitious than that. But again, London Has Fallen gave me what I was asking for. Gerard Butler massacring people for 90 minutes. That one was like 90 minutes. I think. I don't think that was 2.5 hours long.
Yeah. What if Gerard Butler decided to pull off his own version of The Purge just by himself?
Yeah. I recommend this. If you like it, I recommend it if you think it's going to be your cup of tea. If this isn't your kind of movie, this isn't going to be the film that's going to like win you over on the cop thriller epic genre. But if you see the trailer and you think, oh, that maybe, then yeah, go for it. I got my money's worth on this film.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say if anything, like if you're on the fence, like it's a solid rental, definitely. Just because like that 2.5 hour runtime, that's a sit. Like it doesn't feel as long. Like you said, like
yeah,
I've seen shorter films that felt longer, but
dude, Insidious felt longer than this. Insidious: The Last Key, and it was probably an hour shorter.
But like this, it just kept switching over from plot to plot to plot.
Yeah. No, I recommend this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Especially as a January action film. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot else to go on. I mean, that being said, like, a couple weeks here we get, like, Black Panther. So, I mean, if you really need an action fix and you want to save a few bucks, like, there's going to be, like, a big spectacle movie here in a few weeks. I
liked it better than The Commuter. Dave and I saw that last week. I'm sure Dave likes it better too because he got sick right afterwards. Actually, wait, so did I.
That's why.
Yeah. Although that movie, I forgot to mention this, but this was distracting every time it happened in that movie. Patrick Wilson is in The Commuter playing a character named Detective Alex Murphy.
There wasn't one single other name you could have picked. Fuck me. Change it to, you want to keep it basically the same as Short and everything? Switch Alex for Andy or some shit like that. Detective Adam Murphy. Fine. I'm fucking fine with it.
No one on set was like, hey, wait a minute. That sounds... Oh, no, I must be crazy.
Seem to remember this guy. He was half man. He was definitely all cop, though. God, what was it? Drawing a blank.
Yeah, Patrick Wilson probably would be a good RoboCop.
It's the scene where Liam Neeson just shoots him to fucking pieces.
Yeah.
God.
Well, that's Den of Thieves. I recommend it. Any other final thoughts about this?
Fuck me. I know as we were watching it, I'm like, it's like that's a thing I should mention because that's fucking weird. But
there's so much of that.
There's so many things. Fuck me. I don't know. Well, the movie did have a weird feel about like. It wasn't throughout the movie, but there was like within like a 10-minute span, like this movie felt really homophobic for a minute.
Oh, word. O'Shea Jackson wakes up in the hotel room and Gerard Butler says he wants to fuck him.
Well, at the bar, like even after like all of the bad guys have figured out, like surveilled the cops first, know what all of them look like. Gerard Butler just keeps going out in front of all of them. It's like, oh, I'm undercover as a drunk guy. It's like, you are when you're not undercover. And he's also wearing the exact same clothes, like looking like he's an aging roadie. Like just too many rings and fucking bracelets and 5 necklaces. It's like, come on, man. But he's at this, like, he's at like O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s bar, and like, it's like asking, like, it's like, you get a lot of pussy in here. He's like, you know, I mean, I do okay. It's like, I'd fuck you. Way too long of a pause. Like 5 people in the theater behind us were like, what the fuck?
Where's this scene going? This is getting interesting.
He's like, just kidding.
It seemed like something Gerard Butler's character would say in this movie to O'Shea Jackson.
But then, like, 5 minutes later, they have him hostage. He's like, man, why my pants all wet? Look, if y'all gonna do some fucking homo shit, like, look, I ain't into that. It's like, I don't think you can call it that.
A movie like this, I'd be like surprised if these characters did that.
Like, I know a couple more things got lobbed back and forth there, but yeah, it was just like within like that one like 10-minute period, like this got like really weird, because like they were all like, it's like, I don't know what's happening here, but everybody thinks that the other person's gay, and they're like super not into it.
They all want to fuck O'Shea Jackson. That's what's going on. The strippers that were there were just cover. I know where this movie's going. I've seen this many times.
It's like, I had one of the girls clean you off. You pissed yourself. Or even like goes over to him. He's like, it's like, look, you're soft. You're not a criminal like these guys. You're a bedwetter, and you got a small dick for a black guy. Goes over, pats him right on the crotch. It's like,
it's all the art of interrogation.
I hear that people loosen up more when you question their manhood.
In this movie, yeah. This movie's more jacked than a fucking prison workout station.
I'm sure whenever like Gerard Butler's walking around with a glass in his hand, it's just like half bourbon, half pure testosterone. Like, let's drink some of this. Fucking grimace, or just generally have a lumpy face. So he slowly turns into old Mel Gibson.
Someone in the chat goes, uh-oh, here comes the trigger talk.
Oh no, I guess.
We're having a laugh about this. You're the one who got pissed. Bitch. Alright, so I don't know what next week is. Some other January shit. Probably Maze Runner.
Yeah. I know that's like sometime at the end of the month. So yeah, it would have to be, because what, today's like the 18th, 19th. So yeah, like next week would probably have to be, because I think it said like, yeah, like the 25th, 26th, something like that is Maze Runner. So yay.
Oh, well, I'm excited. It's the last one.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what happened in the last fucking movie.
Same problem I had when we watched the second one, and that was only a year apart.
Yeah, this one's much longer. I've definitely forgotten the last film.
I was telling Letty, I'd completely forgotten until we walked into the lobby, and I looked over at the big standee. There was the sign with, like, it shows like the main villainous corporation headquarters, and they've got like their logo spelled out. I'm like, oh right, I forgot the bad guys work for an evil conglomerate called Wicked.
Conglomerate or radio station? It seems like it's a radio station.
Tuning back into WCKD. The hits.
Well, at least the movie will have a good soundtrack.
Doubtful.
Alright guys, thanks a bunch. Thanks a bunch for watching, especially this late. See you next week.